I don't know. I think for each different mindset they need, and I think that's why communism failed, you know, in Russia. I was just thinking about that. It lasted longer in China because I think they had a little bit more ordered society. But the Chinese have always been great capitalists among themselves, trading, buying and selling, growing fortunes in the merchant class. And now what they have is this combination of communism and capitalism, which is very formidable. It's hard to stop. Those Chinese must be stopped and save the Anglo-American world order. Cheers. It's funny how everybody sees, I always get this, like no matter what you say, that a one world government will always be tyrannical. And I don't see it that way. I mean, it could be a government that's one world government, but it has like this whole like parliament. Every country has a representative there. Everybody has a voice. And in order to keep this tenuous grasp, and look at it on a small scale, it's the same idea as the United States. We have a federal government and all these individual states with their own characters, their own set of laws, and somehow we kind of keep this tenuous grasp and keep them together. Of course, this is on a much larger scale. But you kind of look at Europe and the EU, I don't think that's, of course some people are predicting it will, but I don't think that's turned into some terrible, like the EU is really laying it down its law. But maybe talk to the Irish, they might disagree, I don't know. All right, enough on my theoretical stuff. And so I'll finish with something from the newspaper. Is this Fez Night long enough for you? I feel sorry for you people that hang in during the whole thing. All right. I wanted to say this story caught my eye, and it was in yesterday's paper, in the Saturday Los Angeles Times. And what it's about, the headline says, "Bearing Witness to Nazi Horror." And what happened, there's this man named Dennis Avey. Dennis Avey, A-V-E-Y. And he's 91 years old now. It says, this man is finally being recognized for his long-ago bravery, especially his role in saving the life of a Jewish internee at Auschwitz. The British government recently awarded him a medal. And Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial Center in Israel, is considering, I have to go to the next page, considering whether to add Avey to its honor roll of the righteous among the nations, non-Jews who risked their lives to save Jews during World War II. Now this man Avey was like about 25 years when he went to go fight, and he ended up being captured somewhere in Germany. And he was with a bunch of British POWs that were sent to another section of Auschwitz, and where and since they were being treated, you know, relatively well, since they were British POWs, and they were put to work, and they were put to work for this company, IG Farben, and they made synthetic rubber to help the Nazi war effort. And some of the healthier prisoners, Jewish prisoners from Auschwitz, were also sent there to work. And so there was some kind of interreaction, little, you know, I wasn't allowed, but between the British POWs and the Jewish prisoners. And this man, Avey, was only known to the Jewish prisoners as Ginger, you know, because his red hair, ginger hair, and he made friends with a man named Ernst, who later changed his last name after the war. His name was Ernst Lobethal, and later changed it to Ernst Lobet or Lobe, and you know, he survived. He survived the internment camp. But the really brave thing that this guy did is he persuaded a Dutch Jew who was about the same body type as him, to trade places, because he wanted to see what was going on in the Jewish part of the camp, where the Jewish prisoners were being held. And both these men risked their lives. They traded places, and he spent like the night in the Jewish side, and the Dutch Jew was really happy to trade. I mean, I mean, it was a relief. He got better food. He actually got an actual, a much better bed. And they did this twice. They tried to do it a third time. They almost got caught, and they decided, we're not going to try this anymore. And this other guy, Ernst, the life-saving thing, which is kind of, well, he says it saved his life, is that Avey wrote home to his mother and asked for some cigarettes. 4 months later, he was sent 200 player cigarettes. And he gave some of these cigarettes to Ernst Lobet. And he used these cigarettes like they were like gold. And he was able to trade off his cigarettes for some things. And one of the most important things he traded them for was he had his shoes resold. And then they were, at one point he was sent on some sort of death march. And if he didn't have those soles on his shoes, he said he would have died. Could you imagine like walking on your bare feet, with the soles of your feet are raw and you can't walk and they'll kill you. And so he was able to make it through that because he had soles on his shoes, and he thanks Avey for saving his life. And Steven Spielberg was putting together a whole thing of Holocaust survivors and recording their stories. And he talked about this story in the Steven Spielberg film. The man's not alive. He didn't live long enough to see. He lived long enough for the Steven Spielberg project, but he died before he got a chance to meet Avey. But Dennis Avey met Lobet's sister, and I don't know. I just thought that story was very interesting and inspiring. And he was a type of fellow that took risks. And there's a picture of him, I believe. Yeah, there he is. He's talking to Gordon Brown. There's the old gent there. So here's a toast to ginger-haired Englishmen. Cheers. And so that's it. That's the end of a long Fez, which we called Color Me Fez. This is Citizen Kong, wishing you all a great week. Cheers, and a happy Easter and a wonderful Passover. Okay? Cheers. See you later. Bye.